We're starting. Shoot that fucker. It's going pretty well on here. She's good.
All the faces on the soldiers, I'm not the developers now, are they?
Yeah, quite a few of them, yeah. Hello folks, in case you're just tuning in, just going to leave it a minute or two while people log on and check out the video. And then we'll start talking about what we're going to talk about very shortly. Which, for a very brief time anyway, will be this.
Monstrosity.
This monstrosity. We're talking about it very shortly. Stick around for a minute or two, try for everyone to log on. And then we'll go into it all. In the meantime, just check out a little bit of GoldenEye. Reacquaint yourself with one of the N64's best.
People say it hasn't aged well, and they are wrong. It's just as much fun as I remember.
It still controls like shit. Better that controller.
Yeah, it's really good with this controller.
Once you get used to it. Right. Cool. We've got a couple of people logging on. Just wait for them to jump on and then we'll get going. Be right with you folks. Just give us a minute. We're setting up some drinks and shit.
Ooh, drink.
Yeah.
Perfect. Hello.
You upset the dogs, eh? You proud of that? Shush. Shush.
Shut up before I put you in between two slices of bread.
Arr. You find your mum? Yo, whoever's there. Oh, can I see one on there? Usually 4 or 5 jump on straight away. Just give it a minute, guys. We are with you. Just setting up our drinks. We'll be there with you in a minute. Mission 1. Argonels.
To be fair, I shouldn't have had it on fucking the level I did.
What did you have on? Basic.
No. Fucking 007 Super Duper Agent, I think.
Did you? You had your arse kicked, did you? That way.
Oh.
That would explain it.
Now I've got the controls in my head.
See if you do any better. See how you go on then. Set the dog out.
Fuck.
Good boy. Here's your drink.
Tar.
Here's your drink. We are here, guys, in case you're wondering. Stick with us for a minute. Just let me get started. Setting ourselves up. You haven't controlled it better now, haven't you?
Oh, I was all over the place before.
Yes.
Somebody behind me.
Yes. Right then. Picked up some ammo. Picked up some more ammo. Shot a dude in the face. Ugh, right. Righty-ho. So, hello people, welcome to another Yam-Yam retro gaming stream. I am your host, and once again we've got Yam-Yam number 2 joining us, Mr. Alan Davis.
How do?
And right now he's engrossed in a little bit of GoldenEye, which we've got mixed opinions on.
I think it's amazing.
But I'm pretty sure out there a lot of people enjoy this game, and it's definitely one of the better ones on the system. So anyway, today guys, we're here to talk about the Nintendo 64. Now, the reason specifically why we want to talk about the Nintendo 64 today Isn't going to happen, is it, Aaron?
What a fuck about we've had with that bag of shit over there.
Yeah.
Nightmare.
So, what we were supposed to be doing, guys, is we were supposed to be focusing on a piece of kit which Aaron picked up at Revival Winter Zapped last weekend.
For the lofty sum of £3.33 and a third.
Yeah. And it's this thing. This is the Details Game Booster for the Nintendo 64. Now, you thought you got a bargain on it, didn't you? Because you paid, how much was it, so you said? £3?
Well, it was 3 items for a tenner, so it was £3.33.
From our good friends at Sore Thumb, I believe it was from.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
It was in one of their bargain bins, and as much as you might kind of dismiss it as a kind of throwaway peripheral of some kind, it's got a bit of history behind it, because the device itself, in collecting circles, is going for, as we found out later on, close to 50 quid.
Yeah, boxed and complete 60 quid.
Yeah. Now, technically, you don't need any of that, but the reason, we picked it up because the device itself, I'll basically just go over what it is. It's you had the Super Game Boy for the Super Nintendo, which allowed you to play Game Boy PlayStation games.
That'd be good.
I know, yeah. Which allowed you to play Game Boy games on your Super Nintendo. Well, this was a third-party device designed by Daytel in order to allow you to play Game Boy games on your Nintendo 64. Because as we know, there was never any kind of official device to do that, was there?
No.
And the way the device works is...
Badly.
Is badly, as we've now found out. The system itself plugs into your Nintendo 64, as you'd expect, just on top like that. And then you put your Game Boy cartridge into the top here. And then you've got a cartridge slot on the back there, which requires you to put a Nintendo 64 cartridge on to basically bypass the security and allow it to run. So we've got all the stuff here. We've given this a good clean, a good deep clean, and we very briefly...
We got a few games out of it.
We certainly did. We brought along a selection of stuff. I mean, Aaron's brought his Nintendo 64 today because I was unsure if it would work in my Pokemon N64, which is playing up a little bit. He brought a load of games along. We were going to be testing original Game Boy games, colour enhanced Game Boy games, Super Game Boy enhanced Game Boy games, and even a bit of Game Boy Colour.
The whole spectrum, really, of what you could try on it.
Yeah, so we were going to try everything. We had everything prepped, ready to do. We managed to squeeze a couple of games in. We did get it working, didn't we?
We had a game on that.
Which is what?
Pack Attack,
Oh,
which
Pack
is
Attack.
like the Tetris Pac-Man game.
Yeah.
We had a brief game on Wave Racer.
Yes, we did, yeah.
We had a brief game on R-Type, which run really well. They all run really well. I'll say really well for what you'd expect from that bag of shit.
Yeah.
Then we started to try like the Zelda DX, the colour enhanced version.
The colour enhanced version.
Nothing, but
didn't work.
We thought that wouldn't work anyway because of the colour enhanced nature of it.
Yeah, we tried Game Boy Colour games, which definitely didn't work
at all. No. And they seemed to bypass. They either rejected the game and you got a red screen, or it bypassed it entirely. And I found out, which Craig knew, I didn't, that the bag of shit itself has got its own game on it. So when we tried, I think it was... Oh, I don't remember.
I think it was the Zelda game.
Was it? It bypassed it and put its own game on, which is a really, really shit ball bouncing game. And that worked. That was fine. And then we come to try something else, and it was just rejecting everything. Then after that, I'm going to leave Craig to describe this fuckabout here, because we're still a bit bemused. Craig decided to, instead of plugging my Resident Evil in, he plugged his EverDrive into the back. Yeah. And that's where everything went mental.
Well, everything, yeah. We tried several games on this, and we had several games running, and we tried a few, and we played a few, but every game we put in was being a little bit sketchy. We'd have to unplug it and plug it in 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And nothing was working. And so we thought, well, maybe we've got like a bad game on the back or something. Maybe Resident Evil 2 isn't the best game. You know, sometimes we've had like an import converter for the SNES or something, or the Mega Drive.
Some games will work better than others.
Some games will work better than others. So, but we haven't got any more original N64 games here with us to try. So the only other thing we could try, we tried a few, and then we tried Metroid 2, which in theory should work, and it has got, I think it's a 10 colour enhanced palette on the Super Game Boy.
No idea.
But we tried that and we just couldn't get it to run.
It was the beginning of the end, really, wasn't
it? Yeah, it started to go downhill from there. So we swapped it around. We tried a few of the other games back in it, and they were being sketchy. So then we swapped out the Resident Evil cartridge, and we put on my cheapy EverDrive, my Chinese EverDrive on the back. Now, anybody who owns one of these will tell you that they are very ropey, these ones. And you know, it's purely because the original Crix EverDrives cost like £140, £160. They're ridiculous amounts of money. So, you know, one of these is a great budget way to run an EverDrive in your system, but they are ropey as hell. You know, they're a lot cheaper, and it shows in the, you know, in the price and in the way they play. But yeah, so we plugged that in the back because this has got an inbuilt circuitry to bypass that, which is why it's got this NTSC and PAL selector on the top, because what it does is it actually selects emulation of the built-in CIC chip, which is like the copper protection.
I knew that.
So I thought we could at least try this, and in theory that could be used as a pass-through for this. And it didn't work. But not only did it not work, but it did something rather funky, which is why the tone of this video has changed completely, and we're going to try and show you exactly what the hell happened.
Just in time, I did the first level.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
So let's pop this out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're gonna assemble this thing now. So show us how it goes together.
Right, we'll try and assemble it as it should work and how it did work.
Yeah.
You have to get your normal game, shove it on the back, get your Game Boy game. This one has worked on it. You plug it in.
Into the console.
Looks like it's been gang raped, and that happens.
And this is what's happening now. Even to the not so eagle-eyed amongst you, you're going to notice something very wrong straight away. Right, there's a 2012 copyright logo down the bottom. It's talking about websites, right? And it says there, file not found, os64p.v64. We don't know how it happened. We have no idea what the fuck is going on here. We really don't. We didn't know how the hell it's possible, because we don't know how this game booster thing works. But somehow it looks like the operating system that's built into my cheapy EverDrive, and it's not what's off the SD card, it's what's built into the EverDrive, has somehow dumped itself onto the game booster. I don't know how the fuck that's happened.
If I'd have paid 50 quid for it, I'd be really upset, to be honest with you. But, I mean, 3 quid I ain't going to make.
For the sake of 3 quid, you can't really grumble. Now, I bet nobody else out there has ever done anything like this or ever tried anything like this. We haven't got a fucking clue what's going on.
Because just to show folks, this is where it comes from. Take the SD card.
Yeah, unplug the SD card. That's to push in, push out. That's it.
Yes, took
So
the SD
taking
card
the SD card out of that now.
So when you put the EverDrive in without the SD card, that happens.
That's what it does.
So now that exists.
So whatever's on that EverDrive is now on this game booster.
So as if we've got, this is sort of turned into an EverDrive now, but with no way of using...
No way of using ROMs because it doesn't have an SD card slot.
So what the fuck?
I don't know how the fuck that's... could anyone even bet on that even happening or even being possible to happen?
I mean, you've got a really good tech head on you, and you haven't got a clue.
I ain't got a fucking clue.
I certainly haven't got a fucking clue.
If anybody out there can explain that to us, but fucking please, just tell us, because we haven't got a clue what the fuck has happened there. But now, every time we boot it up with any kind of combination of cartridges on...
And we've tried them all.
And we've tried them all, and we've tried them with nothing plugged in. So somehow we've taken... We've done some kind of an impossible fucking Nikola Tesla fucking technology spin here. We've taken a 2012 piece of hardware, which is obviously the EverDrive for the N64. We've taken a 2012 piece of hardware, which should in no way work on anything that was made in, what, 1998, 99?
Something like that.
And we've somehow dumped, unwittingly, unknowingly, whatever the fuck is installed on this onto this and I don't know how that's possible, how that can even happen. If anybody can offer an explanation, look at the documentation. For God's sake, tell us, because we don't have a fucking clue what's happened.
Not a Scooby at all.
I couldn't even bet on that happening. You couldn't do that kind of thing if you tried to. And somehow that's exactly what we've done. We've tried a combination of things. I've got my Game Boy Everdrive here. We had that in the top. We've had that on the back. We've had the Resident Evil on it, off it. We've tried a million things. We even started messing around with the jumper pack.
I don't think it is a game booster anymore. I seriously think all that's gone, and it's now a base model Everdrive. Yeah.
It's whatever this cheapy Everdrive is, this is now it. We've fucking morphed, we've quantum leaped into a new fucking dimension, and we've taken something that's 20 years ahead of it, and we've dumped it and made this into an Everdrive without an SD card slot. So I have no fucking... Yeah, you're right, bruv, it's Everdrive fucking voodoo. Something's gone amiss there. So the planned video that we had, we want to talk... We're still going to talk about some things, but what we're going to talk about... So we're going to go over briefly anyway, because we'll probably never be able to show it. So yeah, this was released, like I say, just before the turn of the century by Daytel, and it was like a third-party way of being able to play Game Boy games on your N64, which is a great concept, but
it's really, really bad. I mean, if anybody had the Super Game Boy, which I did, you'll remember what a brilliant piece of kit it was. Played Game Boy games, you could alter the colour on it, and old Game Boy games had no colour at all, obviously. You could even use the Nintendo Mario Paint mouse and draw your own backgrounds, draw across the screen if you wanted to. It was excellent. This, you put your game in, it runs slowly and choppily, and it's got no sound from the game at all. What it has got is this really weird 5-second loop that I imagine the game the manufacturers put on last minute. So every single game just sounds like this. Over it, no sound effects, no music, no nothing, just that 5-second loop over everything, and a box in the middle of the screen with your game running slow.
Yeah. So it runs Game Boy games, it runs them slow, it runs them with no sound or sound effects. The frame rate dips, it's got like a rolling screen effect, hasn't it? So there's no vertical sync. It runs in the middle of the screen, and like you could play some games, like R-Type we played okay.
It was alright, but...
and it did display some of the Super Game Boy enhanced games in colour. Pack Attack, we got full colour on that, didn't we?
Yeah.
And that did run well, but you know, it was still slow, it was really buggy, and the music just did your fucking head in.
Yeah.
It controlled pretty well with an N64.
It started to annoy the dogs.
Even the dogs are pissed off.
Yeah.
Dave, you've got the wrong end of the stick, mate. The Everdrive is fine. It's a piece of shit Everdrive, and it's already got a few faults on it anyway. So it's a dodgy Everdrive. The problem isn't with the Everdrive. It's what is on the Everdrive is now on this fucking game booster, and we can't even work out how the fuck that happened, but it has. So I don't know what the fuck's going on there. This shouldn't be running anything like that on it. You know, it's got its own operating system to do it.
It seemed to... At first, it came up with some weird menu screen, didn't it?
Yeah, like a diagnostic screen, because it said recognised cartridge, recognised SRAM, and then when it was trying to recognise the Game Boy cartridge, it locked up, didn't it? Mm. And then next thing you know, we reload it, and it's loaded up with the fucking Everdrive's operating system, which is really fucking strange. So we're not covering the game booster. Well, if you want it covered, we've just covered it.
Yeah.
It was probably worth the £3.
Yeah, just for the fun we've had with it.
Just for the fun we had with it. It's a shame we can't show you any of it. That's a damn shame. But at the end of the day, you try and prep for these videos, which is exactly what we were doing, and it went to shit. You know.
We should have filmed it, really, shouldn't we?
Yeah, we should have filmed just that bit to show you. But you can find footage of this thing online. We just wanted to kind of give you a kind of blow-by-blow experience, as you do. And, you know, that's how we like to do things, but we killed it within minutes, so that just says...
When you say we, you mean you, really.
Fuck off. So whatever's happened, we've now committed some kind of magic acts that fucking, I don't know, David Blaine would be quite proud of. And we've now got a Daytel Game Booster EverDrive 64
Possessed
with
the
hybrid
spirit
thing.
of fucking EverDrive from China.
Yeah, and it just won't do anything else. So it's dead for all intents and purposes now. If anybody out there has got a fucking clue as to how that happened, why that happened,
I wonder what other things we could put on it.
yeah. If we can install
Doom.
Will it run Doom? Will it run Doom? That's the classic line, isn't it?
Yeah.
Will it run Doom? So, yeah, so whatever's happened, if somebody's got a suggestion, please send it to me because I'll take a look. And if there's any way I can try and recover this thing, I'll try. Although I seriously think it's crooked to fuck now. So, it was ropey at best, so something wasn't right. But yeah, we've completely fucked it now by the look of it. So, that's that dead anyway. So anyway, on to bigger and better things. It's a bit of a shame because we've got some fucking brilliant Game Boy games here we're going to take a look at if we could have got them running. We've got the excellent Super Mario Brothers Deluxe there. We don't know if that was that Game Boy Color only game. It wasn't it? I think. Because basically a remake of the NES game in Super Mario Brothers. Metal Gear. I've never played that actually on Game Boy.
It's its own game. It's not Metal Gear Solid for the Game Boy. It's his own story.
Okay, so that's pretty cool. Worms Armageddon, is it?
Yeah.
Never as big a fan of that as the original, but you know. But I mean, like I say, we've got Metroid there, we've got Kirby's Dream Land, you know, brilliant games. We don't think any of the Game Boy Color games do work on it, but certainly some of these Super Game Boy enhanced games would have done, and it would have been nice to have played them through, but you know, shit happens. Who are you gonna call? So
the power of Christ compels.
I know, yeah. Fucking, we need an old priest and a young priest.
I need an old priest
and a young priest. So that's fucked anyway. So what we're gonna do instead, since how we've got shit here, and because it's worth talking about, my brother says, "I didn't touch it. You can't blame me for it."
We actually said, get Lee to drop it on the fucking floor. It might work.
Yeah, if you was here, bro, you could drop it, and you might get the fucking thing working. So anyway, while we're here, we had an opportunity anyway. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Nintendo 64 because why not? You know what I mean? It's something we've got mixed opinions on. It's not even a divided opinion out there, but someone of our generation probably will have a few things to say, and I certainly have. So we've got here Az's Nintendo 64, which is pretty sharp, I'll be honest. It's the smoke grey edition or something like that.
Fuck knows, I think I got it from Briley Market for about £4.
So it's already better value than the Game Booster, isn't it? And it's got this nice kind of semi see-through funky shell going on. You can see there you've got the RAM booster pack in there, isn't there?
Yeah. I had that was the one that came with. I either bought it with or it came with Perfect Dark.
I'll say it come with a couple of games, didn't it?
No, it was Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong Country was the first one.
Yeah.
I think it did come with other games after that.
So that's my original from back in the day, that is.
Did you know that it actually fucks up some games?
No, I know they enhanced some, like Quake.
Well, it enhanced some, but it also fucked a few up because something to do with it enhances the resolution, but you can't change the settings manually. And on some games, it makes them higher resolution, but they lag like absolute fuck. So
Quake was alright.
Quake was alright, definitely, and I think Star Wars Rogue Squadron is
Rogue Squadron.
Yeah.
I don't own that though. So
no, I have played that. In fact, we've got that on the EverDrive here, so we could always show in a sec. Yeah. But yeah, that enhances some games and gives like greater draw distances. Slightly better performance.
Quake looks a lot nicer.
Does it?
Because I've tried it in and out with it.
Sad thing is, we haven't actually got a standard jumper pack here, so we can't do like an on-the-fly, comparison, if you know what I mean. But when you take our
because we weren't expecting to do it at all anyway, were we?
No.
We were expecting to
concentrate on the Game Booster. That was the whole point of this video. But you know, shit happens, so we're now kind of improvising. But you know,
we're riffing.
At the end of the day, I wanted to talk about the Nintendo 64 anyway, for various reasons. Now, if any of you... How's it going, Rich? You alright, mate? Anybody who follows the Smell the 90s podcast, which I appeared on a few weeks ago, that is hosted by Aaron here and our other friend, Mike.
Yeah. Check in tomorrow for the episode, because we've got an interview with Jim Bagley on it, which is good. Yeah,
which you did at Revival, a couple of weeks ago. Which was supposed to be a short chat and ended up being quite lengthy, didn't it?
Yeah, I said, can we borrow you for 15 minutes? It turned into an hour, so...
So, well, that's Jim for you. He likes to talk once he gets going.
Yeah, and we like to hear him.
So, so we're kind of winging this. But yeah, we had a discussion on this on the Smell the 90s podcast a couple of weeks ago. And we were talking about like the fact that these guys are Sega boys, and I was all about Nintendo back in the day. And the Nintendo 64 is actually the system that deferred me. I got taken away, and my attention was completely whisked away for various reasons. And I joined the PlayStation crowd. Now, there's several reasons for that. Main one being, as we were just talking about this, weren't we? The PlayStation was like it was the cool system. When let's face it, when the PlayStation was announced, and it had all these awesome fucking arcade perfect ports, as we thought, and you know, demonstrating polygonal graphics to the level that we expected to see.
Grown-up stories like Metal Gear Solid and violence like Resident Evil.
Yeah.
I really wasn't interested in, even though Banjo-Kazooie and things like that are obviously great games, as a teenager, I wasn't interested.
No.
What I say as a teenager is like teenager to adulthood, really. It was like I wanted the more grown-up stuff.
That's it.
A stupid way to do it, but that's how you thought back then.
That's exactly it. I mean, you got to remember, like, we were, you know, entering adulthood. We were going out to pubs, we were joining, you know, we were going to clubs and shit like that.
Talking to girls.
Yeah, and the PlayStation was in a lot of nightclubs. I mean, I remember they had kiosks in several of the clubs around here.
Wipeout was always on.
Wipeout, always Wipeout, or F-Zero in some of them. They had F-Zero in the one by us. And, hang on, F-Zero.
It was a GameCube.
That was GameCube. Sorry, it was on the other platform. But, yeah, sorry, had Wipeout on display quite a lot, and Destruction Derby is what I was thinking, actually. But yeah, PlayStation was where the cool kids went. Now, Nintendo turned me off to this system. A little bit of a story as to why I'm not such a big fan of it. And it's because the Nintendo 64 was first announced in about 1993, I think it might have been announced.
No idea.
I remember seeing it in magazines around that time.
The Ultra 64.
Yeah, and that was when it was still known as the Ultra 64. It had got to be about 93, because, and this is the reason, and the main reason why I turned off to them. Now, my favourite game ever is Killer Instinct, right? Now, the arcade version of Killer Instinct fucking blew me away back in the day, and it still remains my favourite game ever to this day. In fact, I've got a pretty cool t-shirt on, which I'll show you shortly, which is my Christmas present off this fucking Muppet here, which is Killer Instinct related. So, yeah, people know how much I love the game. And when I first saw that game in the arcades, it would have been about the back end of '93. I think the demos first started going out. So around mid-'94, I think I first saw it in arcades. And, you know, it was promised on the opening credits for that. It said things like, coming to your home in... I'll always remember the words, coming to your home in 1995, only on Nintendo Ultra 64. And it said that on Killer Instinct and on Cruising USA in the arcades.
Oh, yeah, I remember. Wasn't that a launch title, Cruising USA?
They were intended to be. Killer Instinct and Cruising USA, that the arcade hardware for those is basically what was supposed to have ended up inside the Nintendo 64. It is superior to N64 hardware in many ways. I don't think it had quite the same capabilities in some respects, but it had far more in others. Killer Instinct, of course, the first arcade game to use a hard drive for storage, to my knowledge anyway, for additional storage. I did
not know that.
And that was to store all the additional, all the extra FMV, all the extra sprite sets for the
beautiful artwork.
The beautiful artwork, all the music, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so obviously I was on the promise that, you know, I'd always been a Nintendo fanboy, you know, SNES is my favourite console of all time, and then it kind of got to this point where, you know, they were promising all this for the Nintendo 64, and it got to 93, 94, they were still talking about it. At that point, there was whispers of the PlayStation and the Saturn coming out. You know what I mean? And if you were Nintendo or Sega, you weren't even looking at PlayStation up till that point. And then obviously Sony started showing what the PlayStation could do, and everybody was kind of rooting.
Even Sega fanboys like me.
Yeah.
I didn't go for the Saturn, I went for the PlayStation. I didn't go for the Dreamcast, I went for the PlayStation 2.
Well, when they started to show things that were jumping ship, you know.
Metal Gear Solid, Final Fantasy,
Square jump ship, and that was enough to fucking convince me. And then, you know, a few CES shows went by and Nintendo 64 still wasn't out. They were touting shit like the Virtual Boy, you know what I mean, when we were looking at proper next generation stuff. So nobody was fucking interested. And the N64 dragged out and dragged out and dragged out. And the PlayStation had been... I mean, I'd asked for it and got it, I think, over 12 months before this even saw the light of day in the end. I think this came out... I think it would have been about back end of 96, if I remember rightly, this came out.
I was still in school, but I was getting towards the end. So it's got to be 96, 97, I think.
Yeah, because I think we were in sixth form and my mate was getting one for Christmas, I seem to remember. So that would have been about 96. And then, how's it going, Andy? You alright, mate? And so, you know, we were waiting on this thing for so many years.
Perfect fucking score.
Nice
Sorry,
one.
carry on.
And then eventually, by the time it got properly adopted, you're looking at 97, 98 before it was like widely adopted, weren't you? And by then, we've been playing. The Saturn had kind of been and gone at that point.
Sadly.
And the PlayStation was probably in everyone's house at that point, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And let's face it, in 1998, the fucking Dreamcast was on the horizon. You know what I mean? So we're talking 6th generation at that point. So waiting around for this thing just didn't make any sense to me. And, I mean, there's a few reasons for that. I mean, Killer Instinct never ended up on here. Instead, we've got a rather inferior...
Was it Killer Instinct Gold?
Killer Instinct
I've never
Gold.
played it.
It's basically a port of Killer Instinct 2, which was already inferior to the first one in the arcade. But it was done poorly. It has, the backgrounds don't look as good. There's less frames of animation. Dave, now I wouldn't have thought that was your thing, mate. You know, Dave from Southwest Amiga Group brings all the Amiga stuff to our events. Yeah. He said N64 was his first console after doing computers, because obviously Dave was into his Amigas and stuff like that. And he says he loved it.
I'll be honest, I love mine as well, but looking back, there's a small handful of games that are just worth playing on it, and they don't really hold up graphics wise. They look a bit muddy.
Yeah.
But you compare it to the PlayStation, there's no contest.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to lie, right? We've got this. One of the discussions our crew always has. I mean, I'm going over a lot of bad points here, but I'm doing it because then we can go on to the good points shortly. There are a few letdowns of this thing. First of all, you've got some really bad design choices. Like cartridges were...
I was astonished when they released it up. I thought they made a mistake, to be honest with you.
Yeah, when everyone was moving to discs and massive storage, that was the main reason Square jumped ship, because they said...
There's no way we can get Final Fantasy 7 on a fucking cartridge.
On a cartridge. And have you ever seen the footage of the Final Fantasy 6 3D demos that they did?
No.
Originally they were going to put... Final Fantasy 6 was going to be on the N64.
Oh,
and they started developing it with the cutesy animation style, but in like 3D, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So the battle scenes would have looked a bit like Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah.
And they scrapped it and moved it back to the SNES in the end, which and it's still probably it's on par as my favourite Final Fantasy with number 7. If the story is excellent in it.
I got stuck on it and I need to play it again.
You need to, because honestly it's one of the most in-depth ones out there.
There was something to do with you have to... I remember there was like a white pigeon or something you had to send off, and I got lost.
That's when you... Yeah,
that's quite far into it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about 60% of the way through.
Oh, so it's not quite far into it.
No, it's a long game. It is a long game. Oh, no worries, Lee. No worries, Lee, at all. You're enjoying it. I'm glad you are, mate. Right, Lee's just said he's enjoying his PS2 that I sorted out for him.
Lee?
Cousin Lee.
Oh, right.
Cousin Lee. So bad design choices anyway. N64, they went with cartridge instead of CD. Big mistake. The controllers were revolutionary for the time. It was the first console to have an analog stick as standard. That was like true analog and put to proper use. Although, again, design-wise, this weird Trident controller is very much a love it or hate it affair.
Speaking of, we was on about this horrible thing, which I brought off Lee, is it Cunningham?
Lee Cunningham, yeah.
Yeah, one of his lads. Now, bear in mind, he's surrounded by retro games. I was sitting next to one of his lads at Revival, and he was trying to play it like fucking this. And I just leant over, I grabbed his hands and goes, mate, he's moved his left hand to his right hand to his right. Oh, right, okay.
Oh, makes more sense. But we'll go into that more in just a sec anyway. But again, more bad design choices. You've got this weird power brick thing at the back, which is really fucking strange. It was a way of moving the transformer away from the wall socket, I think, and not integrating into the console. They still had RF as a standard option, which unfortunately we are running on RF today.
Yeah.
It doesn't look too bad on this telly, to be fair, but yeah, RF is not the standard of choice. But the Nintendo 64, from an event organiser's point of view, we've discussed this a lot. It's, of all the systems we put out, is probably the system which gives us the most headaches to get a clear picture out of, isn't it?
It always, 9 times out of 10, it looks wank.
Yeah, it doesn't matter whether you're using
muddy or washed out or
whether
bright.
Whether you're using RF, RCA, or whether you've even got fucking RGB SCART modded. It's still, on modern LCD TVs, it looks like absolute shit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And you can't really tell on here, but you know you've got like noise reduction on the TVs. The noise reduction does absolutely fucking nothing to fix the appearance of the graphics on an LCD TV. We've tried it at so many events, and nothing you do ever makes the graphics look very appealing on an LCD TV. Now I know that's not indicative of the time, but the reason the problem exists is because the style of graphics the N64 could do. You've got this kind of weird, like pastel shaded kind of polygons with very undefined edges. When you can see, like when you get up close to the textures, the kind of blur, and it's like you say, it's muddy, isn't it? You know, and when you put that on a not optimal display, it just highlights it, and it makes the system look a lot older than it is, I think. Yeah. You know, and it's a shame because, you know, performance-wise, it's running at a decent frame rate. You know, it's panning round, and it's quite impressive to move around and see full 3D landscapes. Probably was about the first time.
Oh, bollocks!
But at the same time, it's like it was very uninspiring. Whereas like the PlayStation was blowing everyone away with the different kind of styles it could do. It was doing 2D well. It was doing 3D well. You know, the texture mapped like things even on Ridge Racer. You know, the textures on the cars and the backgrounds are clear and solid. And it, you know, it was it's not an art style I'm a big fan of, I'll be honest. So anyway, those are the N64's bad points. And like I say, the reason I turned off to it as a Nintendo fan was the fact that it didn't get Killer Instinct, which was promised, and really it could have been awesome on this, I think. It was never as powerful as the arcade hardware for Killer Instinct. Cruising USA was kind of pants anyway, and it was even more of a letdown on this. So so at that point, when I started seeing the kind of games that were being released on PlayStation compared to what had been announced for this, I wasn't really interested. You know, I completely turned off the idea. So anyway, that's the bad points. Anyway, there's a lot of them, but those are the bad points. Just going to have a quick look at some of these comments here. So, yeah, Dave says the controller was a good selling point. It was a good selling point because it was interesting concept, wasn't it?
If you had 3 hands.
Yeah, if you had big fucking mutant inbred hands, maybe. It was good that there was so many buttons. You had.
I liked it once you got used to it. I'll be honest, I liked it.
Yeah, but it was one of those things you either got to grips with or you didn't. And let's not beat around the bush. The quality of the analog stick is fucking shocking, isn't it?
It is. They don't last very well, but at the time, this was the packing game I had, Pilot Wings. That's why.
Pilot Wings.
I'm playing it now because I've played it to death. It was the game I had with it, and the only game I had for quite some time. And the analog stick works beautifully with it. It really does. But they don't age well. No. I mean, to get a second-hand one now that's as you want it is can be a bit of a struggle. Well,
there's companies actually made full replacement sections to replace the analog stick in a normal stick, but at the end of the day, they're still built about the same. So like the same wear problems still occur. Yeah. Because basically, there's no bearing in there at all. You've basically got plastic rubbing against plastic with just friction. So once that grease dries up that's in there, the plastic just rubs away, and that's why they end up flapping about and control like shit. Yours is pretty fucking solid, I'll be honest.
I look after my stuff, but well, I do look after my stuff until I let you try and do a video on it, and you end up fucking possessing it with the power of.
Hey, listen, I can't help it if I'm a fucking elite hacker, you know what I mean?
Jesus.
So this stick here's got like the minimal amount of play in it. I mean, this is as pretty solid as you'll get in it. You know, if you're getting a Nintendo 64 controller today, and it does respond around in a circle pretty well. The analog control is decent. There's no denying that. But again, it's you either loved or hated the control. And to me,
I quite liked it. I'll be honest.
The SNES controller was the benchmark by which all of the controllers went forward in layout.
Yeah.
So I felt that going from a SNES controller to that, it felt like a toy.
Well, if you think about it as well, if you look at it, it's a prelude really to the Wii. If you took that off, that'd be like your nunchuck bit, and you had that separate. Yeah. That'd be your Wiimote bits.
Yeah.
It's sort of, you can see the genesis of the Wiimote and nunchuck in that joypad, I think.
Well, Andy says he thought the controllers were okay, but the sticks were naff, and he's had to repair a few of them. I mean, let's not forget, it's definitely a family console, Dave. I mean, I think that was the reason, though, for teenagers like ourselves. You know, we're on the approach to 40. You know what I mean? So we were
off.
We were teenagers of that age, and we wanted a more grown-up console, and the PlayStation ticked all those boxes. The Nintendo 64, they were touting Mario 64 and.
Oh, never a massive Mario fan, even though I have gone back to Mario in hindsight, and it's amazing, obviously. But I still can't really get to grips with Mario 64. Never bothered me. Never a big fan.
I still don't get the hype personally. I mean,
no, mate.
We'll take a look in a minute now because there's something I want to talk about on that specifically. But then there were some good games, which are family friendly. I mean, Pilot Wings. I
love this game. This is apps. Not many people talk about this. Whenever they go, what's the killer apps for the N64? GoldenEye, obviously. Blah blah blah. And people never mention this, and this is the bollocks. It really is.
No, this is a bit more cutesy than the SNES version, but it's got so many more levels, and it's so
and there's so many unlockables, and you can just fly around the map in like a free roaming mode. Loads of little. It's just got so much going for it. Well, it's still cheap if you want to get it as well. It's still.
Do you know Wii Sports Resort?
Yeah. I've never played it, but
have you never played it? There's a thing that you can do on that where you can do you fly a little biplane.
Yeah.
And you can basically fly around the entire island, and you have to like collect balloons, and you go past all the sports events that are happening on the island. Really cool, and it reminds me a lot of this. So
I might have a blast.
You should give it a try. I'll put it on your Wii for you. So you definitely
what a dude.
So you definitely gotta have a try. Honestly, Wii Sports Resort is so much better than Wii Sports. And it reminds me a lot of this, and I mean, you do get this expansive world feeling from it, even though there are invisible boundaries, I think, on this, aren't there, if you fly too far.
If you fly too far, yeah, it turns you around.
Yeah. Like, I can deal with the graphics on this. Everything is solid coloured. You can pretty much tell where everything's supposed to be. That was a good landing.
Fucking have that. If I don't get 100 points for that.
I'll tell you what, this is a lot easier as well.
What?
Fucking hell.
What?
Time.
Time. I was floating about, alright. Bollocks.
But you know what I mean? It's like it's good. It's a good successor to Pilot Wings on the SNES. A lot easier though, I would say.
I've gone off it now.
See you later, bruv. I don't follow, but I'm looking forward to having another play on my N64. You should do, Dave. Give it a try. About £10 for the replacement stick section, Andy says. So that's the thing. That's a lot of maintenance for You get other systems where you can buy a whole controller for a tenner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Perfect dark blue GoldenEye out of the water.
Definitely, 100%.
Now, actually, that's kind of where I'm going with this. We're talking about the controllers. I mean, the controllers are a sore point, and were always a sore point for me.
Sorry to interject, but who was it who said they liked Perfect Dark?
Andy.
Has he got it on the Xbox 360? Because he plays so much better with a 360 pad.
Oh, a bit of a tip for you there, Andy. Play it with an Xbox 360 pad. And this is kind of where I'm heading with this one, actually. Dave says, not a fan of GoldenEye, but others were. He was a fan. He was used to Duke Nukem and Doom. So, and Andy says, yes, he does. He is aware of it. So, and I think he has played it. So anyway, yeah, like I say, these controllers are a fucking sore point. They sucked for a lot of people, including myself, and it's part of the reason. I mean, I love all systems. I love all retro systems, and I've revisited so many in recent years. Now I'm able to buy them all, and you know, I've talked about some obscure systems on here. I've talked about some obscure games, and going back to systems that were popular that I never really got a chance to play. I keep coming back to the N64, and the problem was always this fucking controller. I just don't like it. I can't jive with it. You know what I mean? It just doesn't work for me. Now, what did happen is Nintendo kind of realised they dropped a bit of a bollock with this one, and then they introduced the fucking GameCube controller. Now, I'm sure a lot of people will agree, as weird as the button layout is, the button shapes and everything, the GameCube controller is probably one of the finest controllers that was ever done. I don't know how you feel about that, Az.
Oh, we're a big fan, to be honest with you.
So that maybe that's what's divisive then. Maybe you're firmly one way or the other on it, but a lot of people agree that with the GameCube, they certainly fixed one massive thing, and that was, well, the layout for a start. At the end of the day, analog sticks were becoming the norm at that point.
Yeah.
And they effectively switched round the D-pad and the analog stick, and because people had adapted to using analog sticks at that point, the analog stick was put in pride position, and they made an analog stick which was solid, it was responsive.
Are they like the mangled, mashed up button placements?
Yeah,
They look like a deformed.
Yeah, the button placement was weird, but the analog triggers were pretty good on it.
And the fact that there was 2 shoulder buttons and then just a single one on one
Z
side.
button.
They ought to have had one on the other side as well.
Yeah, they should have done that for definite. But yeah, the GameCube analog stick definitely got things right. I think it fixed the problems that happened with this. You don't find GameCube sticks with dodgy analog sticks. They're very responsive, and you know they've still got this octagonal gate on them, even on the GameCube. And so obviously in recent years somebody rectified that. Now Aaron's had his hands under the table all this time, but now we're going to show you exactly why I'm kind of going into this now, and that is because in recent years these guys, Retro Fighters, have introduced this pad.
And it's really good.
And it's called the Brawler 64 pad, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. The Brawler something.
Yeah, and it's basically a completely new iteration. Not a shitty third-party thing, you know, as you might have found. But it's basically a brand new iteration of the Nintendo 64 pad to use on the Nintendo 64. And as you can see, it's got the same button layout, but in a slightly more comfortable for your thumb position. The handles go in a more ergonomic fashion into your palms at a slight angle rather than straight down as they did on this. You've got dual L and R buttons, and you've got dual Z triggers on the shoulders. They've done away with that centre stick, which I think makes it feel, for anybody who's been playing consoles in recent years especially, this is now what you'd expect to see. I mean, it's not that far away from an Xbox 360 controller in terms of layouts. You know,
I think what would have been cool if you could have had either a stick cover for that or another stick that doubled up as that. Yeah,
they could have done the C-stick thing, but then again, maybe they didn't do that because obviously some games you can press 2 buttons together on there, like a fighting game or something like that. Maybe it would have been wrong with a stick. But yeah, I know what you mean, because obviously they did use those buttons for camera, didn't they, on a lot of games before we had dual analog sticks. Andy says, as would say, giz it.
Cool, God have it.
But yeah, and obviously the main thing they improved is that the analog stick they've used has got a rubber, a nice moulded rubber top, not a loose one like you get on the modern ones. A moulded rubber top for grip. It's got the octagonal gate and the wider throw that the GameCube's got, and Az is just giving me the aids here. So.
Sorry, mate.
That's all right. So yeah, so anybody, these controllers now are on general sale, I think, aren't they?
No idea, are they?
I think they are. They were aiming towards it. I did cover this in a video.
Different colours as well, like
a long time ago. Yeah, apparently they're now doing. They moved away from the grey, and they're now doing them in several colours, or about to redo them in several colours. And I think you can buy them at the moment. They're still quite pricey at the moment. I think they're about 30 quid or something like that.
With postage, I think they work out about 40, getting off 40
quid. Yeah, it can do. But I mean, at the end of the day, finding a good condition N64 controller is difficult. I never really liked them anyway, so when it came to time to replace, I fucked off getting one of these.
Me! Sorry.
I put Aaron off, and Aaron invested in a pair of these, and I invested.
Jenny's got one, I've got one.
So between us, we've got 4 pads, and if you've ever been to the events and noticed recently, when I've had these out, people go straight for these ones, especially people who've never played N64 before. They go straight for these new joypads than the old ones because I think it's now more familiar to them. You know, if you've played Xbox or PlayStation,
this is the standard now, really.
It is the standard, you know, and the dual Z triggers is very handy. You know what I mean? Depending on, you know, what handed you are, I suppose it probably helps having left trigger there.
Yeah, because we should mention now that there's a bit of a fault with the first run of these.
Yes, there is.
Go on, I'll let you.
Well, I'll try and demonstrate it if he doesn't put you off your game. Basically, if you push the analog stick to the top left-hand corner and press the L button, basically inside...
You can feel a bit of movement on the L button.
Yeah, they clash inside, and what can actually happen is the analog stick can get stuck in the top corner.
It doesn't anymore. He seems to have worn that bit away.
It's worn away, but it was a fault, and they have addressed that in the design now, and they've fixed it in future ones. Yeah. But to be honest, the situation, we've not encountered a situation yet where...
It hasn't caused me any problems whatsoever.
Yeah, you're never pushing full top left and pressing the L button for anything.
And even if you do, it doesn't stop the functionality anyway.
No.
You just feel a bit of a bump, that's all.
So... Andy says he thinks they're waiting on stock. Yeah, very possible, Andy. I know they were supposed to be sending out replacement fixed parts for these ones, so we'll see what happens. Yes, Dave, that's another thing. Yeah, the original ones had the space on the back which allowed a save pack, quite a few different peripherals. I think there was
Rumble packs.
The Rumble packs. There was a Game Boy connectivity, wasn't there, for
with Pokemon Stadium, I think.
And that's one thing that these new pads also have. They've got the full expansion socket on the back, so you can use all your old peripherals with it as well. But it's just a lot more comfortable to hold, you know what I mean, long term. I mean, you were playing GoldenEye then, and even though it's still got the primitive single analog stick control,
it was still, once I'd got...
After one game...
Yeah, and I was right into it.
You were right into it, you know what I mean? Because the hand position's so much more natural.
Yep.
You know.
Much prefer it.
So that's my mini review anyway of these little controllers, and that's something we'll definitely be... we would definitely recommend to people if you're going to buy replacement controllers for an N64.
Well, at next revival, we'll have 4 of them out on an N64.
Put all 4 out, yeah, probably the way to go. I mean, if you're playing something like Smash Brothers, something like that's going to be a lot more robust in it than these analog sticks. Well, if you're playing GoldenEye, you know what I mean? Those sticks get a bashing.
Yeah.
So it's much better to play on something like that, and it probably feel more natural having the dual triggers as well. So that's the Retro Fighters Brawler 64 pads anyway. If you can, look them up online, order yourself some.
I recommend them.
Oh, you recommend them?
Not that I'm anybody important, like, you know.
But you'd endorse them?
Yeah. If they give me money, I'd endorse anything, really.
But how do they compare to the Game Booster?
Fuck off with that. The possessed bag of shit. Finally did it.
So anyway, we've talked about some random shit, and I'm improvising further again here, guys. But right, so what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about the N64 library and some of the games and shiz and stuff that's on here.
Is that going to save more records to the Everdrive? Because I've done quite well there.
Yes, it will do if you go back to the title screen. If you can.
Oh yeah, okay.
That's fine, and then I think I need to reset it first.
Sorry, I'm dying here.
That's all right. You carry on and die. Yeah, and I think I'll reset it and then...
Not that I'm ever going to play it again, but, you know, it'd be nice.
And then we turn it off. I think that it writes it back to the... Because different games use different save methods, you know. Some it was on cartridge, some it was on...
Rumble pack.
The pack, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So... Right then, so Yam-Yam endorsed. Yeah, you're right there, Dave. So, yeah, you might notice this occasional flickering on screen going on and the fact that the screen isn't centred. That's because of this slightly ropey Everdrive here. This is something I don't recommend, I'll be honest. I mean, it was
Neither
cheap.
do I now.
It was cheap and cheerful. It does the trick at events, but...
It likes to clone itself.
It likes to clone itself onto shit that it shouldn't work on. I mean, it does work, you know what I mean? You can play the games, but it does strange things with the display. we had the picture jumping all over the place before this. It's doing some kind of weird PAL 60 signal, which we can't work out, can we?
Yeah.
And the screen is shifted over to the side, so it's all to do with this EverDrive, so not entirely sure why. Just to clarify, it doesn't do that on the original game. We've got Resident Evil 2 here, and it doesn't do it on that at all, so it's definitely something to do with that. So, yeah, we're going to go over a couple of the games here, and we're going to have a little bit of a chat about them. So, let's jump back into GoldenEye, mate. That's very much your...
I can do that.
You can do that. You're there right straight away, mate.
Where am I? Golden Nugget. Where the fucking hell is it?
007 GoldenEye.
Oh, of course it does. Fuck me. You stupid bastard.
Press start. There you go. Yeah, see, that's the thing, Andy. If I could afford it, I would. I am building my EverDrive and flash drive collections for all systems, but the Nintendo 64 ones from Crix are fucking ridiculously priced, and I can't justify it because it's a system I'm not that in love with anyway. So I bought this just to make do at events and things like that. And if this gets damaged, I don't mind too much. Eventually, I'll invest and I'll buy an EverDrive 64. But for now, this does the trick, and I wouldn't recommend it though. You know.
I wouldn't recommend it.
So let's just straighten this up. So GoldenEye, yeah, a lot of people know this game. This is the game that did actually have me start warming to the N64.
This game is pure fucking filth. I love it.
It's a great game.
I've never managed to do every single level on the hardest difficulty. I can get about halfway through.
Yeah.
And there's this one level you mean like an underground base, and the enemies just keep coming and coming and coming, and fucking no chance. Not for me, anyway.
Well, my friend, back in the day, you never tended to have more than one system at a time. You couldn't afford it.
No.
Especially if you were kids like we were, you know, during this era. Your parents were buying your consoles. You know, you weren't buying your own. Certainly not until you were an adult.
I was, to be honest. That's an whole different story.
Yeah, that's a different story. But yeah, it's like you only had one system. So if you were picking one, we've already established we were on PlayStation at this point, weren't we?
Yeah.
But like my friend, he always had the latest system. He was there on launch day. I don't think he would ever get them on import, but launch day in the UK, he had the latest system every time. And he had the N64 when we were all rocking PlayStations. And we would do like all-nighters at my friend's house. And one of the ones we did, we've been breaking out Gran Turismo. We're doing all-night sessions on Gran Turismo on the PlayStation. And then he came round the one night, brought his N64 with this, and everybody was absolutely fucking hooked. Now,
I had a similar scenario. A mate had it, brought this round, was like, you've got to play this. I was like, fuck, lend me your N64, you bastard.
And he says, check out Goldfinger 64 as. What's Goldfinger 64?
No idea, it sounds like a mod.
Is it a mod? I'm sure of this. If it is, I'm going to have to download that and get that on here.
Shot!
Is it a mod or is it another game?
Fuck knows, never heard of it.
I thought there were only two games on this. Is it this?
Nightfire or the other one?
Nightfire was GameCube. I think World Is Not Enough was on here, wasn't it?
That's it. And it was shit war, if I remember.
It weren't a patch on this.
Fucking bastards.
You know, originally they had all the sprites in for all the different bonds on this, and they had to.
They couldn't do it because of licensing, could they?
Licensing, yeah.
I'll tell you, I heard that there was on about developing.
Andy says it's a hacked version of GoldenEye, but totally remade. Might be worth visiting. If you like this game, I suppose it's definitely worth revisiting. Yeah.
I heard that there was on about developing a reloading system where you use the rumble pack to reload your gun. You pull the rumble,
slapping it in and out.
Yeah.
Oh god. Thing is, there's this thing about immersion in games, and I'm very much of the belief that we've gone as far as we really need to do on that subject, because as proved with the Wii, it ends up becoming a bit of a novelty, because playing games physically can become tiresome very, very quickly, can't it? It's an interesting concept, but at the end of the day, nothing beats a good old two-handed, joystick and buttons. At the end of the day, that's what it grumbles down to.
Yeah.
That's how you tune your skills, it's great to play like party games on things like the Wii or
quick blasts. But there's no you ain't going to sit down and get through a game like this where you're waving your fucking hands and jogging on the spot.
It's just not going to happen. It's just not practical. You know what I mean? It's like fucking Nintendo used to peddle all those kind of fucking peripherals there back in the day. Yeah, like the
Sega did as well, though. To be fair.
Well, Sega had the the activator, that weird like octagonal ring thing.
Yeah.
And then Nintendo had things like the track, the mats, didn't they? And the U-Force and the fucking rockin' thing, and weird shit like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, you can even say light guns to an extent were a bit of a novelty, but at the end of the day, light guns rocked in the arcades. You know what I mean? So it's understandable why they were brought home. And it's one of the sad things, you know, you can replicate so many things at home now with emulation or even with original consoles, but without a CRT TV, you ain't playing fucking Point Blank, you ain't playing, you know, all those fucking awesome, you know, light gun games that we grew up with. And that's one thing I really do fucking miss. Although a friend of mine on here has been talking about it, somebody out there might have developed a decent light gun for once, a decent PC light gun.
Excellent.
Which pisses even on the U-Track, which obviously I've been using a lot of in my arcade builds, so... How's it going, Aid? You alright, mate? Aid is one of the guys, actually, who's just logged on, who used to come to some of them sessions, some of them gaming sessions. Ace and Aid for a few years, man. But yeah, we used to have some good sessions on Gaz's system. So, but anyway, GoldenEye, great game, and the reason it was a great game, jump onto our multiplayer now, mate.
Okay.
The reason GoldenEye was so popular was because of this. If you can go back to... There we go.
Players 2, scenario, normal.
Normal, pick your character. Weapons all. Slappers only.
What do you want? Shall we have...
Could you pick all?
No.
I thought there was an all.
Power weapons.
Go on then.
You ain't allowed to have odd job.
Oh, you bastard. I was meant to be odd job as well.
No.
Hang on. Where is odd job?
Oh, he's one of the... You have to
is he unlockable, is he?
Yeah.
Ah, right.
That's it then, mate. So...
I think so, yeah. No, I can't. I ain't played this in fucking ages.
Now looking at my half of the screen.
How do you look up and down?
The yellow buttons.
The yellow buttons.
That's your strafe as well.
Out in reverse as well, isn't it? Oh, can't you walk off edges?
No.
Only like stairs. Like.
As soon as I find you, you are fucked.
I know I am. I'm fucking getting out of there, don't worry. Fuck you.
Come here, Robbie Coltrane. You picked the biggest target.
I haven't got a fucking gun. I'm picking up fucking bullets. I ain't got a fucking gun.
A dead end, literally.
Ah, bollocks to you. Fucking hell, it's been so long since I've fucking
See
played
you,
these.
Jimmy. You're dead.
I need to find some fucking guns at least. Where's all the fucking guns or body armour? I got ammo.
Oh, you've got the body armour.
Did you change weapon as well?
The A button, the blue one.
Yeah, no, I got no guns at the moment. Fuck off, let me find a gun. See, you can tell I didn't play this game a fucking fat lot back in the day. No, I've got a gun.
Oh, a Dustovan. Or Dusseldorf, whatever the fuck he's called.
Where are you, bastard?
Where are you, bastard?
I get you, bastard.
No bloody listen.
You nobody listen to your bastard kids.
Make a bloody show, mate.
I'll have half a cup. I'll have half a cup.
He died recently, didn't he?
He did, yeah. Was it
He did remind me of Omar Sharif, but obviously that wasn't him.
No, it wasn't him. Come on, fucker.
Do you remember, what was that other film he was in with Steve Coogan, the probation officer? That was good.
It was, yeah, I think it was.
Oh!
Fuck you, bitch!
You ain't doing nothing with that pistol, mate.
I fucking shot you in the fucking face. I should have fucking took you out, cunt.
Dead.
Fuck you! To be fair, Dave, you know what? I am going to blame the controller because I got this piece of shit. And Aaron knows I can't use my left trigger finger.
Right then, swap over. There you go. Fucking Robbie fat bastard Hagrid Coltrane now.
Dear me. I'll actually fine tuning it. Fine, Amy.
Oh, you even got a gun? Oh, 'cause you're dead, yeah.
I told you, I got fuck all, man. Can you strafe on this game?
Yeah, the left and right yellow buttons.
Oh, that's why it's so weird. I wonder what the fuck was going on.
That's your other stick, basically.
Yeah, it is a...
Oh, hey, you.
The thing I always found with these games, I could never find where the fuck I'm going.
Yeah, everything looks the same. Where the fuck are you?
I mean, don't be wrong. I mean, I'm shite at these games, but they are good for a fucking laugh. And I think the reason this was such a good for a laugh is because... Oh, you cunt. Bastard. The reason this is such a good fucking laugh is because unlike other first-person shooter games today...
What are you doing?
I'm struggling to fucking control it. You can tell I don't play these games often, can you? Yeah, you know, it's like they weren't terribly unfair. Like, you play like Call of Duty now, you run into someone, you're knifed in the face, you're fucking dead. You know what I mean? And you got these fuckers just run around maps jumping all over places, don't they?
Yeah.
And it's like, unless you're a fucking shit hot at these things, you can't play with like people who know what they're doing, you know what I mean? Ah, karate chop, you bitch!
Slapper.
But yeah, it's like, it's just so different, you know what I mean? This was like, I can live with this. I don't feel when I die on this like I want to punch someone's fucking head in.
Thankfully.
You know what I mean? But like when it comes to like modern first-person shooters, it's like when you die, it's like an insult. It's like you're just there lying on the fucking floor, waiting to respawn. You feel like
getting teabagged.
Yeah, getting
by a fucking 12-year-old.
That's it. While some squeakers fucking shouting down a microphone at you, while his mum's calling him in for his fucking tea. You know what I mean?
You've had a bad experience, haven't you?
Yeah, just more than a fucking few. Fuck off. I haven't got a gun. Where are all the fucking weapons?
Yeah. You bastard.
How come I ain't moving on your screen?
Bastard. Stay still so I can kill you.
I'll chap you, bitch. I'll chap you, bitch. I've got to say, the lightness is pretty good even for a low poly... Oh, look at you, just halfway through a door and half in and half out. Look at me, man, like I'm wafting a fucking fart. I picked up some ammo. See the fucking gun through with it now.
Throw it at me.
That's it, yeah. Fucking have more joy fucking throwing it at you. Why doesn't it look like I'm chopping you on your screen? Bullshit,
it did when you were moving, but when you were stationary.
The family-friendly console. Now, well, you know what, Dave? It's like I can live with this. You know what I mean? This is what made this popular, and the fact you can play it in 2-player and fucking 4-player and not really lose any major quality. You know what I mean? I think is what. Fuck you. I think that's what made this game popular with like groups of people. You know what I mean? Mates playing together. The controls weren't. Once you got to grips with them, the controls weren't overly complex. You know, you're all kind of on a level playing ground. There's no like major advantages and disadvantages, and none of this bullshit pay to be good DLC like you get now. You know what I mean?
No hat collections either.
No fucking hat collecting.
Oh! In the face.
It was, Dave. It definitely had a decent 3D engine. So yeah, you know what I mean? GoldenEye, definitely a high point in the system, so let's take a look at something else then. Let's jump on...
Put something really shit on.
Really shit, so we can say how low it goes.
Yeah, let's really delve into the bottom.
Let's see how low it went. I'm tempted to mention one game, but I know people will want to lynch me if I do. Oh, here's a good one we were discussing.
Daikatana.
Now, I know John doesn't watch our streams, but we've met John several times, and if there's one game he doesn't really like to discuss, it's this one, and probably for good reason. This is how wrong things can go, and I'm going to let you do the honours on this one, mate.
Oh, great. I've never played this before.
You never played it?
No.
Do you mean on this system or full stop?
Full stop.
Well, let's see what happens, and let's see what you make of it. Expansion pack detected. High resolution graphics mode can be selected from the video display in option mode. So
We'll have a bit of that then.
So we are going to at least show off the expansion pack and to what it can.
So what do you have to do? Go into the options?
Go into options, it reckons, yeah. And go to video type, I'm guessing. High resolution graphics. High resolution!
We should do a... We'll have a look at it low first.
Yeah, that's a good idea, actually, yeah. Do it low and then we'll jump into to high quality shortly and see what the difference is.
Just make sure it's staying in low. Yeah, okay.
Jump onto the single player mode. Oh my god.
Chugs a bit.
It does chug a bit. Is that the fucking... Is this like pre-rendered or FMV, or is this actually how the game moves?
This is the game. This ain't pre-rendered or FMV, I think. This is the game.
I mean, the textures are alright, but they ain't nothing special.
Well, let's skip all this shit. Maybe it's the EverDrive, because the EverDrive, who knows?
No, I don't think it is. Not. It wouldn't affect the performance.
Ooh. Alright, the left stick does this, which is the complete opposite to GoldenEye.
Yeah.
I mean, that might be good, it might work out right, but...
So do you move forward and back then?
With the C button.
So the C button is to move?
Yeah.
And then the stick aims?
Yeah, I don't know. Fucking something shooting me.
That's basically left-handed controls, in my mind. But then again, if you need accuracy on your actual aiming, that makes more sense, doesn't it?
Fuck knows. What's shooting me?
That dude through the...
What's that?
Is he above you? Oh, is there a camera? That's a person. Oh no, you're dead.
No. Right, let's try the other graphics.
What the fuck?
Right, options.
So, welcome to Daikatana, everybody. Definitely not a high point in John Ramiro's career, I don't want to say.
Did he do this one though? Or did he just
Probably not this.
He's supposed to be loads better on the PC.
Listen, if he put his name to it,
Yeah.
he did it.
Okay. He's supposed to be good on the PC from what I've heard.
I've heard a mixed bag. I've heard it's buggy as shit, but I don't know.
Oh, well, that's no different.
Well, that doesn't look any different.
Or is it moving a bit faster?
It seems to be moving a bit faster, but... Well, the static images don't look any clearer.
I mean, Quake, you can really tell the difference.
Are we now in letterbox?
Was it like that before?
No. So... It's put into letterbox mode. And it's moving in a bit.
One shot this time.
With that fucking weapon, anyway.
This is the weapon I was using last time?
Was it just a targeting off or something?
Oh, I don't know.
Mate, you're getting absolutely anally fisted and you're about half dead. You know, go kick butt. That's still as sluggish as it was, isn't it? It's just in fucking... Just in widescreen now. It's in like a weird letterbox mode. What the...
Daikatana!
Is that why it's called that? Because that's what you can
Because you
scream
keep
at
fucking
everything.
dying. To be fair, I ain't doing a very good job of hitting the fucking thing, but...
Well, I don't know. Can you kill it or just got to avoid the fucking thing? It doesn't look like it's going to die. I think you might. But you got the skill power up. You're getting it by bats, mate. You got bats fucking biting you now. You got rabies. You're going to die of rabies in a fucking game.
Rabies? What's that? A frog?
The frog just hurt you. Oh, that's that thing.
I don't like it.
I don't like it. I can fucking see why.
I mean, it might be alright, but at the moment I've just got some armour, I think. What that?
It's
Light.
the fucking light on the floor, I think.
I'd like to play the PC version, but I haven't got a PC.
Well, let's face it, it's no GoldenEye, is it?
Nope.
It's not even. It's not even a fucking golden shower.
It's a shower.
It's a shower of fucking something. It's a shower of shite.
Right, I'm just gonna fucking stay here till the bastard dies or I die.
Mate, he doesn't. Have you got grenades or anything? Oh, he does die.
Jesus! And that
Is
used
that
all
the
my
same one you'd already nailed about a billion
Yeah,
times?
yeah. I think that used all my ammo.
Have you got any health?
Yeah, that used all my ammo.
Man, this sucks.
Maybe you just have to run past all these and level up and come back or something.
Is it one of them type of games, is it? See, I don't know. I'm looking at it and I just find it really... Is that jump?
Yeah.
I just find the whole thing like really uninspiring, like to look at. I know, like, you know, these type of graphics haven't aged all that well, but come off it. You can play Doom now.
Okay, how do you crouch?
Is there an opposite button to jump? L, maybe.
Oh, God.
Have you got to move that thing somehow, maybe? So we've established that no button ducks. Maybe holding jump and pressing something else. Yes, you ain't going under there, mate. Frustrating, isn't it?
It's fucking cack.
Dear, oh dear.
I don't want to play that no more.
Nah, that's how many goodies that one.
I don't know, maybe if I could get my head round it a bit and get under that thing.
But that enhanced graphics thing was just bullshit.
Yeah, because I remember distinctly the first game I tried with that enhanced graphic thing was Quake 2, and you could really see it straight away. I couldn't see any difference on that really.
So okay, let's go one more first-person shooter. You want to give? You got your choice. You've got. Oh, don't think too hard.
No. Well, Perfect Dark's the first one that comes to mind. So should we have a look at that?
Yeah, let's fucking get that a crack.
You had to have this to play Perfect Dark, didn't you?
Yes. It was
Could you play this on an EverDrive without it?
No.
You had to have it as well.
No, you can't emulate. Well, at the moment you can't. There might be ways that it can be integrated into the car. At the end of the day, they've now started to integrate or emulate special chips because, like the latest SNES EverDrive, was it the Super, not the Super EverDrive, the SD to SNES, that now emulates the Super FX chip. So they thought it couldn't be done, and now it can. So I imagine there's a way of convincing this that it's got 64 megabyte.
Who wants to see Duke Nukem for 5-year-olds? Those alien naughty boys are going to pay for screwing up my ride.
Is it time to kick ass and chew bubblegum?
I'm sure there's no swearing in this at all.
You're joking?
I'm sure he says those alien scum are going to pay for shooting up my ride or something.
I thought this was the original Duke Nukem 64 where all the swearing come from.
Nah. It was a PC game, and then it got put on the consoles. The PlayStation version's exactly the same, pretty much. But this one's all edited and Nintendo-fied to fuck.
Freaking aliens.
Freaking aliens! Did you hear that? Oh, this is Daikatana as well. And look, daytime, what's that all
Especially all at night, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just supposed to be a sleazy part of town.
To be fair, it moves a lot better.
Yeah.
It's a lot smoother. It looks, it looks a little bit kiddish. Yeah, you've got the static fucking, sprite images out for your hands, but
Fuck's sake.
God, I bet it makes it a lot more playable still.
No, because the left stick, it bounces back, look. Boing, boing.
Oh, so
And
you've
it's a
got to
pain in the
hold it
arse.
there.
So I was trying to shoot that
To be fair though, with my control, that would probably fucking help me. Maybe it's simplified for that exact reason. I mean, it does look like Doom, you know what I mean?
Right, let's see if this
It seems to move and look like Doom, and yet Doom on this
is a
was fully
completely
3D.
different
It's a
game.
completely different game to the original Doom, innit? Where are you going?
Mate, I've played this game so much I know where all the fucking secrets are.
Clearly.
Ah,
I couldn't tell if they were background or fucking painted on the wall or whether they're characters.
see, because that is a poster of a stripper or something on the PlayStation PC
And then
version.
modified it to like an old man.
Yeah.
The fuck?
I don't know how to... Maybe...
Shoot it in the dick.
Because that's a secret. There's steroids behind there. To be interested to see if you can get steroids on this. Fuck you! Kick! Judo kick! Should be a rocket. Should be a rocket launcher.
Kick him in the face. There it is.
Oh, it's a grenade launcher on this.
Launcher.
Well, that went well.
Press open to restart level.
Open. Those alien scum. Right, let's try and do it right this time. Oh.
It's not hitting him or something. Yeah,
I mean, I'm not this bad.
It's just lack of control.
Hey!
Yeah, just caned all your health.
Yeah, that went well.
Oh well.
Oh, I hate this. There's probably a way of changing it in the options.
Yeah, probably a different default scheme. Like, it seems to move at a fair pace. You know what I mean? It's
it looks nice.
It's fast and it looks all right. I mean, I could find my way around one of these stages easier than I could that fucking Daikatana, which just looks ugh.
Daikatana.
Diet Iguana.
Fuck.
What the fuck's he just floating in midair?
Have they got jetpacks here, some of them? Oh, what was that?
That was a big grenade launching bang bang.
Now, if I remember right, but
Uranus ass licks, did that say? Well, that's one way of fucking dealing with them. Uranus attacks.
No, that was a porno, I think. There's a secret room in there I'm going to try and get to because there's like a stripper on a telly.
And they're bound not to be in this.
Yeah, I've probably got to get a jetpack first, which is in... fuck off.
You need to change the weapon. You're going to blow yourself up.
I don't want to play it anymore.
Yeah, anyway, so let's try some different games then. Let's go for something...
Your turn.
Yeah, alright, and I'll take a pick on this one then. I'm going to go with what I know. And I'm going to go with what I know because...
That's what you know.
That's what I know, you know. So, let's have a bit of the old F-Zero. And I'm going to let you do a little bit of filming for a bit. So, I like F-Zero. I like F-Zero on the SNES. And I like F-Zero on here. Because it is just an enhancement of the SNES game, you know what I mean? You've got multiplayer, you've got fuck ton more cars, you've got proper upside down, and you've got like blistering pace and shit on this. And so,
Hooray!
Captain Falcon.
Never been any good at this.
Never ever. Ever
felt like this when strange things
excuse
happen.
me. I'll be Captain Falcon. And we'll go with max speed rather than acceleration. I love this game. I mean, I was attracted to the PlayStation because of Wipeout. And when I ended up playing the first Wipeout, I was a bit underwhelmed. And yet, like with this, like, it's got the pace that I always thought only Wipeout had, you know what I mean? It's got fucking awesome music. Got great fucking tracks, controls well. You got like fucking 60 frames per second fucking racing. And if I can actually get up to fucking speed on this. Oh, it's been a while since I played it.
Which do you prefer, Wipeout or this?
Overall, like the series or like this game? The series, I'd say Wipeout's probably got... No, it's still this, I'll be honest. I mean,
I don't think we could be friends anymore then.
As much as I was into Wipeout, it's like... I think the games have been more consistent. I honestly think these games have been more consistent. Right, where's my fucking booster? There we go, there's my booster. I get a fucking cane now. Jesus, we're losing fucking control. Ain't doing very fucking well, but
it runs
still,
really fast and smooth.
it does. It's proper fucking slick. Moves at a fucking fair pace. The fucking music's awesome on this game. That's something I think that's important, man. Like I say, I was talking about like the N64 graphics being uninspiring.
Yeah.
You don't want them too colourful because they look kiddie. You don't want them too shaded, else it looks washed out. And this has got like, it's really bright and colourful, but in like the right way. You know, you've still got good textures on the tracks.
Yeah.
Still moves at full pace. It does look solid. You know, the ships look really cool. And I say it's moving at a pace that feels like a next generation game should do.
Yeah.
I mean, the original on the SNES was fucking fast. This is like lightning speed. You know, big fan of this. It's like, I know it kind of goes against convention, but I'm not as big a fan as Mario Kart on this as I am on the SNES. I much prefer the SNES.
prefer it on the SNES as well.
I just think the SNES game was more refined. You had the battle mode was, you know, people didn't race on the SNES, people used battle mode, and battle mode on the SNES was fucking epic. And yeah, this version, the N64 version, introduced 4 players.
Yeah.
But I didn't give a shit. It just, battle mode had been compromised. It was more about the racing, and with the uninspiring graphics, you know, all the pastel shading in there. I just never felt like the same game to me. It got better with time. I mean, like GameCube, Double Dash is a fucking superb game.
I've only ever played that once.
Honestly, Double Dash is probably next to the SNES. I would put Double. In fact,
that's starting to get expensive, I think, isn't it?
Double Dash. I don't know. We had a few copies of it because we've had it on fucking 8-player link up. Don't forget with for the events. We had it on 8-player link up back in May.
That's Gareth's stuff, isn't it?
On Gareth's kit, yeah, he's got a load of new kit coming, by the way. He's got 8 orange GameCubes coming.
Does he rob banks for a living?
He fucking must do. He wanted 8 Japanese orange GameCubes, and he's going to try and do a link up on that.
Giz it, Gareth?
But then again, next time we might do, because you can also link F-Zero AX up for 8-player as well.
Nice.
So we might do F-Zero AX on the GameCube.
That's the one I've played the most, and I've only played that one a few times.
Have you ever played it in the arcade?
No, never. You put it on my Wii for me, haven't you?
I have indeed. Well, sorry, yeah. GX is the GameCube version, AX is the arcade version. Easy to remember, G stands for GameCube.
A stands for arcade?
A stands for arcade, yeah, but I still fucked it up just. But yeah, so that's F-Zero. Yeah, I fucking love F-Zero. That's a game I could play endlessly on here, you know what I mean? It'll take me a while to get back to grips with it, but I do love that.
What's your favourite Wipeout? For me, it's 2097, every day.
2097, easily, because
every day.
It did everything the first one got wrong.
Yep.
The pace was there that you always thought it had, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to jump here quickly onto Killer Instinct. I mean, I mentioned it just.
Yeah, see what it's like with the fighter pad.
And well, that's it. I'm going to see what it's like because, like I say, I've only ever played it with, you know, with this thing, and I'm just not a fucking fan of that thing. You know what I mean?
Just looking for your battery in case I can take it and film.
Ah, it's all right. You're probably on slack there, mate, to film. If you want to hold it up a bit. So anyway, this is Killer Instinct 2. I'm not going to call it Gold. It's just fucking 2, and it's not a great iteration of 2 either.
What did that? Why? Because even though I like Killer Instinct, I even play the new one from time to time. I'm nowhere near as versed in it as you, so I could not pick this out the bunch. Any differences between this and the arcade? So talk us through it.
Right. First of all, looking at this, static images with minor animated face. On the arcade, it's a fully animated character standing there. You know what I mean? You got a lot more going on here. I think the fire and everything looks better at the bottom. The arcade for both Killer Instinct 1 and 2, the backgrounds, you could argue that it's more advanced. If you take a look at the backgrounds, I'm going to let my ass get kicked while I focus on it. As I'm panning out there, obviously that's full 3D rendered backgrounds. You can tell because the way I'm moving around, it's changing angles and zooming in and out. Now on the arcade, just like number 1, the backgrounds were actually pre-recorded videos. And what actually happened is as you moved across the stage, that video file played forwards or backwards.
Oh, okay.
And it was actually pre-rendered. It saved some of the processing power for what's going on in the foreground. Now, really, even though that should be technically superior, they should have done it with this, because if you look at the characters, the number of frames of animation is nowhere near.
It's quite choppy, that was then.
It is choppy. If you look at the animation on the sprites, just when they're stood there, just chilling, you know what I mean? You'll see that the opening stances. There's only like 3 or 4 frames of animation. There's several frames missing. If you've ever played the arcade, it's even more obvious. And it is a bit better with this pad. It's just a fucking hard game. Not as good, definitely not as good a fucking game as the first one either way. Getting my ass kicked as well. The combo system was changed so dramatically for this. It made for just a lot more difficult game to fucking play. And I'm getting my ass absolutely fucking handed to me. It's better with these pads, I won't lie, but I'm not better with these pads. I'm too used to playing with an arcade stick now. I've been spoiled. She's fucking blocking everything, man. The sound and everything that is sampled a lot lower, so it's not as good, it's not as effective. I'm barely pulling off a frigging combo here. It's just like the sprite scaling and that. It's just a bit unappealing, you know what I mean? And with these control pads, it doesn't feel as good as using a SNES pad. That's why I just can't get to grips with it. The first game was far superior. If you ever speak to any of the guys from Rare as well who talk about, I mean, Kev spoke about this a lot at our events, spoke to him privately and that. He says the first game was, you know, it was perfect.
Yeah.
And they just tried to build on it for the second game, and it just didn't come out the same. The combo system doesn't flow as smooth as it does.
Did they say why, or is it just too complex to...
In the original, you had the basic linking system between the buttons, which if you I'm not going to go into too much, but the Killer Instinct, the linking system is how you built all your combos. For this, they introduced this meter, and this meter is how you control your combo length. And it's hard to kind of get to grips with that if you're a novice. And to me, it ruined the game a little bit, because...
that thing that's building up underneath your health bar?
That's it, yeah. That's your... I'm trying to think what it's actually called. There's a name for it. But you basically press a button to activate that while you're in the middle of a combo. And it extends your combo. And it overcomplicated it. The hits don't feel as solid. It's like when you're pressing a button, there's like a delay before you attack. It feels just sluggish. The original is just so smooth. It's just hard to beat, you know what I mean? And they just completely got this wrong. Throws, there were no throws on the original Killer Instinct at all. And it just changes the gameplay up. It'd be like if you put fireballs in Tekken.
Yeah. Well, they have, ain't they?
Akuma's in it now, yeah. But it changes the game, and that's what I didn't like when they threw this in. It completely changed the game for me.
Do you think that's just you being set in your ways, or did it get less than stellar reviews back in the day as well?
It definitely didn't get as good reviews as the first. It's not me setting my ways, because the same system exists in Killer Instinct 3, the new one that was done for Microsoft. But
You on about the one on Xbox One?
Yeah, it's Killer Instinct 3, whichever way you cut it.
Oh.
And it's basically...
I really like that.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've played that.
Yeah.
And I've played that as a novice going into after years of not playing this. And you can still play that like you play number one. But then once you start learning it, then you can start adding in the other things.
Some of the people that play that, you have to have a brain the size of a fucking planet to do the shit they pull off.
You do.
I'm awful at it in comparison, really.
Killer Instinct's the kind of game where you need to learn a character and kind of stick with it. Because you need to learn the ins and outs of how your combos link. I mean, I'm struggling to even pull off one fucking combo. It's like, you know, if you play like Street Fighter 2,
yeah,
and you play Mortal Kombat, the move system's completely different. With Mortal Kombat, it's all about taps in it.
Yeah.
Double tap forward, double tap back.
Whereas Street Fighting were about curves.
Curves and charging. Yeah. What they've done with this is a lot of the basic moves. I mean, I'm trying to do combos here, I know, from number one. So her helicopter kick, her cartwheel kick has been changed. So straight away, the combos you've learned and adapted to
Yeah, with Street Fighter,
have gone.
all the way from Street Fighter 2 to Street Fighter 5,
Yeah.
you can still do Ryu and Ken's jumping, hard punch, stab
Yeah.
punch, dragon punch combo. There's something there to sort of link you to all.
That's right, but like it's like you could argue that's a sign that a series isn't evolving, but to me, it's what keeps you familiar with the game.
Yeah.
There's certain things that should stay the same, and certain things that should change. And with this, they changed the feel of it so much, it feels like a completely different game. And it's not a feel I'm very happy with. I'll be honest. Like I say,
You ain't feeling it.
yeah, none of the combos you could do on number 1, you can do on here straight away. You have to learn an entirely new combo system. And to be honest, when I spent so many years committing to number 1, I can't be asked to do that again on here. And yet when I played KI3, when obviously Kev came back in as a consultant on that.
Didn't he do the voices as well?
He did, yeah. Quite a few of them come back. Chris Sutherland came back and re-recorded the classic announcer voices for it that you can open up. Kev worked on character design, and I think they got Robin Beanland back in to work on the music for it as well. So
It's such a good game, but I think it's niche. People still play it. I'll follow all the Facebook groups and look at some of the shit they pull off, and I think it's not as popular as say Street Fighter and that because it's so bloody difficult to get good at.
yeah,
The sky's the limit on that game. It's so diverse and so complex. I mean, obviously, me and my mate Les, we play simple bog standards if we're playing Street Fighter. But some of the shit you can do, I think that probably sort of puts some people off because of how hard it can be.
yeah, exactly. That's
Which isn't a bad thing, really. It sort of shows the depth and the scope of the game. But it's way above me. Way above my head.
right. Yeah, I can tell I love Killer Instinct anyway. Just show me a t-shirt off.
Oh, fuck me.
That's my t-shirt that I've had. Combos, Jim. Fucking brilliant. TJ Combo is the fucking man on Killer Instinct 1. Right, so I'm going to do a bit of filming now.
And he's better than Balrog. We had that done in the... If anybody, I don't know if anybody follows the YouTube channel Death Battle, which is brilliant. It's got millions of hits, and they really go in depth into the characters. And there was a Balrog versus, I think I've shown it, yeah?
Yes.
Versus TJ Combo one. If anybody's interested, it might be worth a look. I won't give you a spoiler.
Right, we're going to play a game now that definitely divides me anyway. Now our friend Dave is quite notorious with this game for a good reason if anybody's ever seen the incident back in the day. And pretty soon again you might be able to see a little flash of this as Dave revisits it on Games Animal TV. We will see, but either way, Mario 64. Now this is the game that sold 1 million N64s, I'm sure. It sold it to a lot of people.
Not to me.
And it didn't sell it to me either. I've got to be
I am
honest.
fucking shit at this.
When I saw the pictures, I was amazed. When I saw the game,
Can you pull his face or something?
yeah, if you drag that cursor onto his face, the one that's off screen at the moment, and if you hold one of the buttons, I think it's the Z trigger, you can drag his face around.
How do I get the cursor onto the screen?
Work out where the fuck it is first. There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
It keeps running off. Oh, fuck it, I don't care.
Anyway, yeah, you can drag his face around.
Ba, 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 ba.
But so yeah, this is the game that sold so many N64s, and straight away I can tell you some problems I've got with it. Some serious problems. Talking about the graphics, about them looking washed out. I don't like this really blurry kind of cloud effect that they've got going on.
Nah, not me.
Not a big fan of that. I don't like the low polygon count. I don't like the textures being so that they're very pastel shaded and grainy. I always found it very unappealing. I know that's just my opinion, but if there's one game I think is seriously overrated, it's this. Some people talk about it like it was the fucking saviour of all gaming.
The best platformer that's ever been
Yeah,
made.
and I just don't agree at all. I mean, I'm going to say on here, we're talking about the quality of the image, right? I know this is RF, but look at the fucking noise that is going on there, and that's caused by the type of graphics that exist on N64. You don't get that kind of noise on any other platform and on RF on here. So, I mean, the game just looks, I don't know. Like, you play a Mario game, you're straight into it, you're jumping, you're bouncing on things' heads, you know, you're bouncing around, you're running to the end of the level, you're trying to complete as fast as possible. It's all about reflexes. This one just seems to be about being a fucking kangaroo. No, seriously, right? You're walking around. You so far you've done more walking and bouncing around. You haven't even encountered a fucking enemy. The enemy count is actually very low in this game. It's more. I mean, yeah, okay, it's a platform game. You got me on that one. You got to do platforming skills, but it's like you're exploring a fucking castle before you even encounter an enemy. You run around like you're on fucking ice. I hate the way, even from you're on normal ground, you've got like no traction.
Yeah.
It's like he's got fucking like, I don't know, like felt on the bottom of his fucking shoes and run on a marble floor. I really can't. I really don't like that.
I don't like it.
The way he moves just seems fucking strange to me. Ellie's real. Is that what it says on there? That's the room, right?
I have no idea.
It's something like Ellie's real or something. It says on the fountain. See,
What's
on
that supposed to mean?
Luigi's not in this game.
Oh, right.
Now that pissed me off because Luigi was actually my favourite Mario brother out of the two. I much preferred Luigi to Mario. And he's not in this game, and it was rumoured that like it's low resolution, but apparently on the statue there, the plaque says something like Ellie's real or something, which everyone thought alluded to the fact that Luigi was in the game, but he's not. He only appeared in, I think, when they remade it for the DS.
Yeah, he's on the DS version.
You can be Yoshi as well in that kind.
Yeah, the baby's got it. Even the baby never took to it. I don't even know where I've got to go.
I think in the first room you're in at the start, there's one door you can go in to start with, so...
Yeah, this one.
The control is annoying as shit, isn't it?
It not my cup of tea, mate.
It leaves a lot to be desired.
Oh, is that it?
I think that's it, yeah. Yeah, see, it's got no, that's it, yeah.
Hey.
That's it, it's the only one you can go and start with. I mean, yeah, some of the effects are cool, like the rippling effects, you know. It's good to see, like, an expansive stage and that, but...
I think it is a great game, but I think it's overhyped.
It's like all this talking to things, like this. Is this an RPG or a platformer? Make up your fucking mind. I think that's the way I see it. It's like you've got two Goombas on like a massive expanse. You've got to slow down to collect your coins. It's nothing like the fast-paced platforming action I'm used to with Mario. And I think that's why when I saw it, I was like, nah, this ain't really for me. And yet my mates were raving over it, and they were like, oh man, this is fucking excellent. And I was like, I don't really get it. Do you know what I mean? It didn't make much sense to me why they departed so far from what we knew. Because you got to remember, before this, we had Super Mario Brothers 1, 2 and 3, Super Mario World, which is a fucking fantastic game. Yoshi's Island, okay, a bit of a departure, but still, you got to rely on platforming skills and things like that. And then they brought this along, and this brings me on to something I really wanted to fucking talk about. Voices in video games. I absolutely fucking hate when they started giving characters voices. Right, Charles Martinet, don't get me wrong, great guy, I'm sure. I'd love to go into an event.
Bollocks.
You know, his voice is recognised the world over for being Mario, and it's cool in some respects. And this was obviously the first one that he did. But why does he have to just hoot and make fucking noises constantly? Every move is ooh, ah, ooh, ooh. It's like he's got a fucking feather up his arse.
Or Tourette's.
It is. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. It's like, just fucking jump. Why are you making stupid noises?
See, I'm bored already.
You know what I mean? You haven't even attacked anything yet. You haven't got a single power up. You know, I think there's very few power ups in the game in there.
No.
You've got this power meter. I mean, fucking power meter. What is this fucking? You know what I mean? Say a fighting game. Well, you got a fucking power meter, and there you go. There's your attack, punching things. That ain't Mario to me.
We are starting to sound like old men shouting at the sky, to be honest with you.
No. This is the reason I don't like Mario. But yeah, the whole voices in video games thing, that was something that knocked me and really started to appear in this generation. They started to give characters we knew and loved.
The worst thing they did to Sonic the Hedgehog was give him a voice, because they gave him an annoying, not cool, unfunny, fucking arrogant dickhead voice.
This is my point exactly, right? Like Mario, right? Great little character. You aspired to be him. You looked up to him. He was like an icon as a kid, right? And that was great. While he shut the fuck up, I thought it was awesome while he was quiet, because you could imagine whatever voice you wanted.
It's like, that's a good discussion to have, actually, because some of the great characters have no voice because you not anthropomorphise them. You project onto
yeah.
what you want. Like, I mean, look at one of the great heroes of modern gaming, Gordon Freeman from Half-Life. Never says a fucking word.
No.
Never says a word.
But in your head, he does.
Yeah.
You picture him being a certain way, and you kind of, that's how you kind of, like you say, it makes them relatable, because you picture them sounding or being like you in your head, because you want them to. It's about empowerment, isn't it?
I remember I used to read the Beano, and I remember when the Dennis the Menace cartoon come out, and he was just this fucking cockney twat. I was like, nah, I'm having none of that.
It just wasn't the same, was he? And I feel that, like, you know, there's a great many characters been ruined by it. Now Mario, I mean, to be fair, he's come out mostly unscathed, and in the later games, his voice and everything is tolerable. He tones it down. He says funny things. It makes him endearing. In this, he just sounds like a hyper child with some kind of screaming problem. It's just like he's running around.
ADHD, I think they call it.
Yeah, he's running around bouncing his arse on everything, making these noises. It's like the guy's got serious fucking piles, and he's just going around screaming about it.
I don't know if that does anything.
I think you got to go one more on it. I could be wrong. No, see, I got fucking clear.
Well, maybe you have to do more.
You got to do all of them. See, that the whole exploration thing, that ain't really Mario to me. It's executed better in the later games, like Mario Galaxy and...
I started playing that the other day. I ain't got an opinion on it yet, because I've only started playing it.
Don't be wrong, there have been a couple of good 3D roaming Mario games. Mario 3D Land on the 3DS is a very good game, because you've got the old classic power-ups, it flows smoother, there's no bullshit story, you're going through, doing your platforming in 3 dimensions. There's no dead spots like this where you're fucking around with the camera. I think you're getting back on yourself,
No,
mate.
I think I need to...
I need to let him go, do you? Or does something...
That's just the star for the level, I think.
Oh, it's behind the mesh to your left. There you go, that's it. That's it, you can grab that star. And that completes the level if you correct it, I think. Yeah.
I don't know, I'm actually getting into it now.
But it's like it's just not Mario to me. I wasn't a big fan, and the whole voice thing really pissed me off. I don't like him talking. I just wish he'd shut up.
I don't like the fact he's Italian, but I am racist.
But then there's other characters it's killed. I mean, fucking Sonic.
Oh,
Giving Sonic a voice,
big mistake.
it absolutely fucking buried him, because he came across as like a bratty teenager.
Yeah, because he was meant to be the cool one, and so I envisioned him a certain way of coolness.
So when they gave him a voice,
I was like, oh, if you were at school,
I'd slap you.
I'd pick on you,
Yeah.
and I ain't one of the fucking bullies. But you know what I mean? I'd have words to fucking say to you, mate.
And it's that whole thing of where if you try and be cool,
You ain't cool.
you ain't cool. And because he was trying to be a cool kid, you just went, ugh. Like, the cartoon was kind of shite. They gave him the voice in games. They started putting him in situations with real people. It didn't really work, did it?
No.
You know, it buried him. There's other characters as well, like...
I mean, Tails, it worked really well for. I think Tails has
Tails
been
was
the best
supposed to be
character all the way
kid,
through.
don't worry.
And he was the intelligent one, and he built all the stuff. It's like, if anybody should be arrogant, it should be Tails. Sonic's got nothing... The only thing Sonic's got going for him is he runs a little bit faster than Tails. Tails can fly and build aeroplanes. He should be the cocky cunt, if anybody. Sorry, you've really got into a bugbear.
You see what I mean? It's one of those things, you know. I mean, there's times when putting voices in games makes them more immersive. I mean, you could imagine like fighting games without voices. That the voices give those characters character.
Yeah.
But I think that's the whole point. If you don't do it right, you know, I don't think iconic characters needed a voice. I think they did it with certain characters because it was like the next logical step. I mean, I love Zelda games, and I think Link is a great character.
Yeah.
The cartoon was cringeworthy, but like it's like when they gave him a voice, it's like that's another game on here. I think he's seriously overrated.
Ocarina of Time.
Ocarina of Time.
Majora's Mask is better in my opinion. Most people don't agree, but
the thing is, I can see why people like it. Don't get me wrong. I can see. 3D realm and being able to explore that makes more sense than it does in this, I think, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because it's Zelda, but I just personally don't favour it. I think I prefer Zelda in 2D, and over the years, thankfully, they have continued to attempt to do Zelda in 2D. You know, the DS outings were in 2D. Minish Cap was in 2D, and this was after they'd started doing it in 3D.
Oh yeah, well after, yeah. The most recent one was, or one of the most recent ones was... on
the 3DS.
Link Between Worlds.
Link Between Worlds, and that was based on what I consider the best Zelda game anyway, which is Link to the Past.
Oh, is that what universe it's set in?
It's based in the same Hyrule, it's the same map, but instead of a light world and a dark world, you've got a similar thing, but they're called Hyrule and Lowrule. And Lowrule's like the evil,
dark side.
Yeah, the evil incarnation of Hyrule. And like the maps differ the same way.
Oh, you fucking bellend.
Whoa! But a lot of the locations and everything.
Why is he throwing me out the map?
Because that's what it does.
Oh.
So a lot of the locations and everything are the same as Link.
To be fair, now I'm running it down. I'm probably going to pick this up now and run with it.
Go on then.
No. I'm going to
Ah.
start playing the game again.
No, go for it. Gives you something to watch while we talk shite anyway. So yeah, I mean, I just think, look, again, like they gave Link a voice, and he becomes this obnoxious kid, and it's like it's endearing the first time you hear him go, "Woo," you know, like yeah, and then like, but when you hear him doing it constantly, especially in the N64 games, they go way overboard with it, and it's just like a screaming kid for the entire time you're playing the fucking game, and it just pisses me off.
Every time he rolls, and because rolling is a good way to get about, you do it a lot.
That's all you hear. It's like this.
Fuck.
You do your triple jump, and you go, and you're like, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? I'm trying to focus, and you've got some... It's like having a little brother in your ear, screaming in your ear. So yeah, you know, voices on characters, for me, it's... If I had a Room 101, that'd fucking definitely be in it, man. I could live without seeing my favourite icons turn into obnoxious bastards.
How'd you fucking kill these things?
Stomp them there. So I don't like this, the 3D platform. It's just really got a crap camera. It'd be okay if you had a workable camera, but the camera's really fucking tetchy. And it moves as you move. Have you played the one on the Switch?
No.
Odyssey. Odyssey works quite well because the camera angles...
No! Twat, I should have saw that coming.
Yeah, you should. Because the camera angles don't fuck you up on Odyssey. Mate, you fucking aim shite.
I know, man. To be fair, this is the most I've ever played it.
You can get into grips with it, but it's just... Yeah, it works.
Oh, that.
So that's the thing, it's like, I just don't feel it.
I don't like it.
Mario, he'll always be 2D in my head, and he'll always be silent. And he's neither of those things in this.
No.
He's three-dimensional, and he's a noisy bastard.
Yeah, sure.
And he runs like he's on fucking ice.
He does. He's got a very weird running animation. He feels like a bit like, you know, when Scooby-Doo then trying to run away from something.
Yeah. Oh, don't get me wrong, the momentum thing is good because Mario's always had momentum when he runs.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between momentum and running like him on fucking ice. And everybody hates fucking ice stages, so...
Oh, man!
And that's why I find it annoying.
This is just us being shit, though, to be fair.
Yeah, but the further you go in this game, it's all about climbing up and up and up and up and up. Rather than being horizontal like it is in the 2D games, where...
So you find yourself covering the same ground a lot.
Yeah. This is more like the and again, bad camera angle makes that ambiguous. And that's why I don't like my R64.
Okay.
I think this level I've played about fucking billion times and the same thing happens every time I play it. Doesn't matter how good my controller is.
Oh, stop moving.
See, the camera moves even when you've adjusted it yourself. And you haven't used buttons to adjust it, doesn't make it any easier. So that's one game that it's just I'll never grow to love this game.
What do I do with him?
I've tried. He just falls on you. I think you can stamp on his back. That's it.
That's what I do with him.
I mean, that's clever, you know, like it's thinking in third dimension. That's cool, but it's like still.
Yeah, you're never gonna.
No, it's one of them games I will never like.
Dave Perry likes it.
Dave's now got his own copy and a Nintendo 64 to play it on. And he has been practicing, so we'll see how that goes anyway. Yeah, I just don't think he'll ever be...
Fuck me, look at him.
Yeah, he's the daddy. You go fight him now.
Okay.
So just get ready to run the fuck out of the way. That's it. Just stamp on him.
No, that went well. Okay, here we
He's
go.
probably perfectly flat, that's it.
Oh no!
Yep. And then stop.
Do I have to start from
Fight
scratch?
again,
You're
so.
joking?
No.
Ah, this time.
No, how annoying is that? I'd rather just die, you know what I mean, and start the fucking fight again. I'd sooner lose a life than have to fucking start the fight again.
Oh, piss off. I know anybody who's watching this probably thinks I'm a right fucking Burke.
But you ain't played this game much, so it's to expected. And this is what I get every time I fucking start playing it. Like I say, there's nothing wrong with this concept because you're doing something new. But what I don't like is that, like I say, falling off the edge, that fucking... It's tedious.
Ba 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 ba. Yeah, that'll do for me.
Yeah, I think it will. So anyway, that's our unplanned video for the evening anyway. N64, it's been and gone. We'll probably do a better video at some point with everybody. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, Game Booster can go fuck a duck because we killed it. I don't know what the fuck we did. If anyone can explain that, let us know for God's sake.
Yeah.
But N64, well, maybe we'll revisit that when we got 4 people one of these days.
Yeah.
And do a big fucking opinion on it. But
yeah,
N64, like, it's a love it or hate it machine, and there's ways to improve what's going on there. But I don't think I'll ever warm to it. You could probably get to learn to love this, couldn't you?
Yeah, I reckon. But I'll say that. I'm probably never going to play it again.
There's definitely cooler games out there.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's N64. That's our video. Sorry it wasn't on the subject we wanted to talk about, but there'll be other opportunities, and we've got other videos coming up anyway. Next video I'll be doing a live construction video on some of the work on my game, Revival Survival. So I'll be showing you what it is to create pixel art graphics, amateur style, for a game that I know nothing about coding on. So,
are we going to check out the new Jaguar pads as well?
yes, we are. I posted a picture a few days ago of the Jaguar Pro controllers with the 6 buttons and the shoulder buttons. Unfortunately, I left them at fucking work, else we would have covered those this evening, but time moves on quick anyway, so we will do another video, and we'll be looking at the Jaguar 6-button controllers. A rare opportunity to do that, but we definitely got to check it out because I think it'll improve some of the top games on there tenfold. So anyway, that's a good night from me.
And it's good night from him.
Thank you very much. See you later.